Alright, so this is a Sureflame 6000 outdoor wood burning stove. I've not used it yet. I had some water standing in it, and I had a bunch of these fire bricks I had to replace, so I went to Tractor Supply and got me some new fire bricks. One thing you want to change on these yearly, usually once a year, is this gasket around this door. I'm going to do that. And I bought this. It's a Rutland 5/8 rope cement kit. But what you want to do is you're going to want to pull that out, then maybe take a wire brush to that channel. And I always take some alcohol and clean it really good and let it dry. And then I'll put my cement in, and then I'll follow it with the gasket. Let's see. So right now I'm gonna put these ventilation tubes back in it. And if you've got this stove, that tab on, that always goes toward the back. So this one here goes on the left side, and the other one will go on the right. But I'm gonna take these out and I'm gonna put these fire bricks in, and then I'll shoot a video, or I'll show you what it looks like when I get done. All right, the end with the tab is gonna go in first. This is gonna be on your left side. There's a small hole back there on top of them bricks. You want to replace these about probably every 2, 3, 4 years, somewhere in there. Mine, I believe, will make it another year. I think they're going on about 3 years old. I didn't clean them up real good because I was afraid I'd knock a hole in them. But I don't even think you even probably have to have them, but I like to keep them in there. And I'll probably order new ones next year, but I'm going to use these as is. Like I said, that end with the tab on will go in. There's just a little gap above this brick back here and behind this flip. And you just wiggle it. You might have to turn it up, and then you'll have to pull it into place. Alright, so guys, got all my fire bricks put in. Got that done. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'll replace that gasket. I could probably get by with it, but I like to put a brand new gasket on every year. It takes 5/8, just a rope gasket. You can get them at Lowe's or Tractor Supply, and they're pretty easy to put on. But you just want to clean that, when you pull it out, you want to clean that channel real good. This thing's got these panels that, they kind of sit right here. I'll pull them off. It's got some insulation that you dig out, but it's got a couple of these switches here, or relays. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. I'm not sure how often they need to be replaced. Mine was replaced. Last time I had to replace one was, I had a deal where, I'll show you here. Let me remove this panel. And this is one thing you want to check before you ever start your first fire. Hang on a second. So remove that. All right. One thing you want to check before you ever start a fire is that little blower motor there. It's got that fan in it. You just want to make sure it spins freely. This little door, you can move it up and down, and you don't have to take that front off. You can just stick your hand up underneath that heat shield and move it. I usually keep it about right there, and then on the super cold nights, I'll pull her down to about right there. And it'll help, it'll just help with the heating of your house. What I was gonna say is that little blower motor, the reason you wanna check it is I've had a bird get inside here and die and not know about it. And started this thing up, and it had a good fire in it, but wasn't getting no heat. And it finally started warming up a little bit, and we fell asleep. Well, we woke up, was a bunch of smoke coming through the vents. Our whole house was filled with smoke. That motor overheated and caused a couple of these switches to go bad. So I had to replace them. That's the last time I replaced them. But other than that, you got them 2 switches there. Of course, I got my brown wire there. This is my thermostat wire. That's how it's hooked up. It runs straight to a little thermostat you can get at any hardware store. I've got it on a wall inside the house. That's about all there is to them. You got these fuses here. Every time the electric goes out, it'll blow fuse. And it's these LC 286 degree, I'm not sure, 14D. That's what it is, but a lot of times when you lose power, right here, take this box off, it's got some insulation in it, but that fuse goes down. There's a spring-loaded plate in there, and that fuse sits in there at the bottom. It's got a nut and a bolt that holds through the bottom hole of this fuse right here, and it'll sit in like that, and then the spring-loaded plate will compress down over that, and it's got like a little, you could use anything, but there's something to stick through there to let that plate come up and catch on. But when the electric goes out, it'll just, it'll blow that fuse. So you want to get you several of them. They're pretty cheap. You can pick them up off your dealer, or you can probably call Sureflame in Indiana. Here's where it was made, Indiana. Probably get a hold of somebody there, and you can probably get them to send you some of them. If not, you can probably get on Grainger's website. They've got a lot of that stuff, and these fuses or whatever those are, switches of some kind. But I'm sure they've got them on their website. If not, you can probably just type that part number in. You might be able to find them on Amazon. I don't know. But I just usually put that insulation back in and take these doors, slides up like that. It's got a little screw that holds it in. I'll have to do that later when I ain't holding my camera. But that's about it. This thing, it burns real good. It will burn for 12 hours. But, I usually load it about 3 times a day. Early in the morning, and then of the evening, and then I'll load it right before I go to bed. But depending on what the temperature is outside, warmer nights, it'll burn a lot longer, and you won't have to load it as much. But when it gets cold, I like for my house to be hot, so that's one reason I come out here. This is not really the damper, but it's just a door for the fan motor. But it helps more air get to it where it'll burn more. The damper is actually right here. Mine does not work, of course. But what I do is I've got this little hook attachment here. My damper, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right there. And I open and close my damper like that. So that's what I do. And I like to leave my damper most of the time probably about a 1/4 inch open, you know, 1/4 to a 1/2 inch open. I like to open it all the way up when I'm starting it, and then once I get ready to close this door, I'll come out here and I'll slide that damper closed where it's got like a 1/4 inch air gap in it. That's the way I run it. It does pretty good, but I'm gonna replace that gasket. That's really the only thing I have left to do. I may go ahead and order some of these switches here, because it's been several years ago when that bird got trapped in there, and they might be time to replace them. I don't know. I'll just have to, or I can get a meter or something, get out here and check them. But that's it, guys. It's a pretty good stove. It's old, but like I said, when that did happen and the bird got in it and overheated and it tripped those switches, the fire department came out here because we didn't really know what was going on. But I had this stove looking good. I had a nice housing built for it, but they took access to it, and I've just kind of used a bunch of leftover stuff and just throwed this together. But it's on the back side of the house, and it kind of keeps the weather off of it. It don't look the best. It used to look real good until they took them access to it, but it ain't no biggie. It's got 2 motors on it. It's got a big motor that kicks on once that firebox heats up. But one thing you want to do is before you ever start your fire, you know, click your breaker on and go in there and set your thermostat to where you'll get this fan blowing. Then once you build that fire, it'll help that fire get built up. Then once that firebox heats up, that big motor will kick on and it'll start dumping heat through your vents. But it works pretty good. I've had this thing about 16 years. And it's got some more, I'm pretty sure it's got some more switches right in here. I'm gonna take this off here in a minute and check. But that's about it. You wanna take that chimney or flue off every year. Of course I didn't this year, but you wanna take it off. Maybe put a cap on top of that when it's not being used. Yeah, that's about all I got. I'm not gonna start it up now because this is mid-October and it's just not that cold. And I try not to start my fires until about Christmas time. So try to save on as much wood as I can. But it does pretty good. But once I do get ready to build a fire, I'll shoot another video up. All right, that's about all I got. We'll see you next time. All right, this is the right-hand side of the stove. And it's got one of these switches over here. So it's like I don't know if you can make it out or not. But that's what switch goes on the right side. Of course, it's got insulation in it. That's about it.